Whoa! Dang, this is beautiful! This is fan-made? Dude, look at the colors and the photography. There's just so much more atmosphere to this than season 3. So cinematic. I love it. Look at that. Okay, bro. Or maybe that was a bad frame to pause on. Let's see how he redid the famous shot of Garo. Look at that, dude. It looks sick. Oh my god. It's so much better. Look at that. The intensity, the contrast, the atmosphere. This is so much better than season 3. This is a fan made, and he made it in 4 days. But Mark's one of a kind, but still putting season 3 to shame. Here's another one done by Nico Art on X. I just like this composition more. I like the red. It feels stronger and more evil and cooler. Even the most loyal of One Punch Man fans have gone to boycotting Bandai because of the season 3 debacle. And apparently in Japan, they're using season 1 as promotional material to cover up the terrible quality of season 3. My goodness. I went off on Charlie the first time he made a response talking about season 3 because it was just so early in the season. And, well, it turns out he was right.
Episode 5 just aired, which is the one where I was trying so hard to buy into the hopium that the community was spreading about how this is where the budget went. This is what they were saving all of their resources for.
The season JC staff cannot handle it with their resources. It's so evident.
Because the first 4 episodes of the show, it wasn't really animated, like, at all. There were a couple moments like Garo fighting for a brief second where they had a few moving frames, but otherwise it's fundamentally still images. You get more movement if you finger through the pages of the One Punch Man manga. Like, you just riffle through the pages, you'll see more movement. In season 3, episode 5, this was supposed to be the big one. Like, this could have been a peak fight, and people were so desperate to latch on to the titty of faith that...
I was one of them. Okay, I was one of them. And yeah, he's right. Episode 5 was supposed to be the episode where they really show off their animation. It's like, we were willing to forgive you for 4 episodes of talking if you can just pull off the really important episodes, right? Like the things that can go viral on Twitter. When the clips go viral on social media, like that's what helps an anime get a lot of recognition. It's doing innovative animations that are extremely technical and intense, and it creates this insane product of something like we never really seen before. That's one of my biggest criticisms about season 3 so far, One Punch Man. We haven't seen a single unique animation. Like, not one, not any innovative animation at all. I made a video talking about the top 2 animators in the world, in my opinion, Yutaka Nakamura and Vincent Chansard. And some of the reasons why they're so popular is that they are animation innovators. They bring forth these just mesmerizing, like, new techniques that all of a sudden all these other animators try and start replicating because it's just so crazy. We don't have any of that in season 3. We did in season 1 and not in season 2 or 3.
And I haven't seen a single person defend it. The best thing that can be said about episode 5.
Even the One Punch Man fan accounts on Twitter are like boycotting One Punch Man. They were like defending it to their last breath after 4 episodes. And then after episode 5, they're like, you know what, guys, even I can't defend this anymore.
And you can see this reflected in season 3's rating compared to the previous 2 seasons.
I haven't seen this before. But who is rating it? Is this fan ratings, like averages? I can't believe season 1 like didn't have 10 across the board, bro. But yeah, look at the ratings for season 3. Jeez, way less than even season 2.
5s across the board except for episode 5, which is a 6.3, which I still think is too high. Like I think that even for a 6.3, this is overrated. Yes, JC Staff is not the optimal pick for One Punch.
Okay, so he's changed his tune now because in the original video, he was really going at JC Staff. And one of my biggest concerns really was like everybody's just attacking the animators when there's all these like higher levels that are causing the problems, right? JC Staff just can't handle this anime, apparently, but there's other issues. Not having enough time. If the production committee only gave them 1 year to do this whole season, well, that's a big issue right there. But one of the other biggest issues is just simply the industry of Japan. It's the culture of the anime. They think that they just don't have to pay animators a lot. It's seemingly impossible to change that culture for whatever reason.
They should not have been the first round draft pick for season 3 of One Punch Man, and I imagine they were chosen by Bandai because they were the cheapest option.
Yeah, that's what I said in my original video. It could be cheapest. It could also be that like maybe they wanted another studio or some freelancers that are just busy on other projects. After all the criticism of season 2, it's just such a strange move to pick JC Staff again. The only thing that really makes sense is that they just didn't care at all about the property.
Yes, the director of season 3 was not the best pick. This is not his genre. This is not his wheelhouse. But still, there could have been a chance to produce something of high quality here if Bandai was more willing to put some actual elbow grease into this property. A massive property, by the way. I don't even know why they have it when it seems like they just don't want it. Like they truly just want to just slap garbage out there with it. I don't see why Bandai even has the rights to it.
It's really interesting because all these other studios and they're trying to make these properties popular by giving them these high-end studios. So the only thing that makes sense to me, really, just thinking logically, is that they don't feel like producing a high-end version of One Punch Man is really going to increase sales that much. Because they're not going to be able, like, if they spent $10 million on a new season, they'd have to recover that $10 million, way over that in new merchandise sales and everything. One Punch Man is already like a household name. Season 1 was very big on Netflix. Even the comedians like Bill Burr were talking about it. So I don't think that this season would really increase sales. It's probably more they did this like literally just to keep people interested so that they keep buying. And it's actually going to have the opposite effect because they took a very cheap approach. And it's going to have the opposite effect. It probably will make sales bomb like crazy. I mean, some of your most diehard fans are literally boycotting Bandai now because of this debacle. People are very pissed.
Because there's an animator named Van Oba, who I think is very talented, who was hyping up episode 5 because he got to work on it. He got to produce some cuts for episode 5 that he was very proud of. And when the episode aired, he got to see them finished for the first time in the show. And he, too, was very disappointed, even saying how unfortunate it was. So, there is clearly a huge disconnect here, because there is talent involved.
Which, by the way, if you guys are wondering what he's talking about here with Van Oba, so almost all animation is still done on pencil and paper. At least they do Genga, even if you do it digitally. But it's just the line work and how the shading is supposed to be distributed. There's still, once you give it over to the studio, they're going to do the backgrounds, the compositing, effects work, and all sorts of stuff like that. They could ghost it. They could dim it. They can really mess up your cut. I've seen it happen to a lot of top animators on a lot of these top shows where you have this beautiful cut and then they just ruin it with ghosting. I'm almost positive that's not the animator's choice, right? In this case, Van Oba, what he was saying was that he felt like the compositing made his cut feel weaker than it actually is. And a lot of people actually got really upset at him because they're like, you're just trying to blame compositing for your bad animation. It definitely plays a factor. I didn't get the impression that he was like blaming the rest of the staff for his animation. But I mean, we got to talk about like all the neon lights, the neon blue Garo everywhere. That is ruining people's artwork. We don't like that crap, and they just keep doing it. They ruined the most famous Garo shot in the entirety of the manga with this neon blue crap.
So even someone's great work, like from Van Oba, is not getting a chance to shine here. It is the best of the season so far, but that's such an incredibly low bar. The reason it's the best of the season is because Van Oba did actually make an animated sequence. He actually had some good cuts in here, even though they didn't get utilized super well in the episode. At least there was that. Like, there were a couple of moments that showed some fluidity. It showed, like, some glimmer of care here. Everything is, like, so, like, robotic and janky looking.
Not everything, okay? Like, I think the reason he's saying, and a lot of fans say things like this, the bad scenes just stand out more. Like the negative stands out so much more than just a standard, like normal, animation walking or something like that.
Like it is not in a good state. At points, it just looks embarrassing.
It is not in a good state, but the thing that irritates me more than anything is that they cut out details, like very important, mesmerizing details that made me fall in love with this manga. Like Garo's face being implanted in the rock, being like he standing up, facing down Orochi with this hole in his stomach, but they don't have it in the anime. Like those kind of things are like, whoa, when he's eating the monster arm, I remember I was like, I had to stop because I was like, what? He's like eating a monster? That was so weird to me, but it made me pause. And that's like important. Make you like think about the story and stuff like that. And it's skipped in the anime completely.
Composed of still images, even in this episode where this was apparently where like all the nuts went, like this was supposed to be the big one, and it's still just so flat. So the Orochi fight just doesn't hit that hard. Like, it is still the equivalent of me going, picture, 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 did you enjoy my animation?
I asked my fans if they felt like Orochi's introduction and fight, like if you're an anime only, did you get the impression that this guy is scary, powerful, like the level of Boros or something? And like literally everybody said no, he doesn't feel powerful.
It just makes me so upset. Like, the final sequence of Garo versus Orochi here in the episode is like one-to-one with the manga panels where Garo's in the air, about to deliver a big blow, then it cuts to his face, and then it cuts to him in the wall. And in the manga, I think that works just fine. I think it's very hype in the manga. But watching it in an anime format, it feels unfinished. It looks...
Yeah, 100%, 1,000% here. Like, your point as the animator is to take the panel and then animate it. You're not supposed to just color the panel and then still frame panel. That's not how anime is supposed to work. I mean, sometimes, but not usually. Like that is like the artistic freedom you're giving the animator to do some really fun expressions with the characters, and they're just completely skipping it. And like, that's why everybody thinks it's rushed. You have so many opportunities for animation and connecting the panels, and you just don't do any of it.
Looks like it was an editing mistake. So if you haven't read the manga, I imagine you probably scratch your head going like, well, what just happened?
It's super jarring in the anime,
Did they forget something here? And the answer is no, they just decided to just take still images from the manga and then just put them on the screen and be done. And if you read the manga...
They didn't even get the still images right.
I imagine anyone that would try and like cope by saying the episode's not that bad is a big manga reader, so they'll give like a little leniency there because it's something they've wanted to see for a long time. And the fact that it's here at all is probably satisfactory to them, even if it's in such a poor, pitiful state as it is in season.
Okay, I gotta say this. So at first fans were like, cancel the season. It's worse than season 2. At first I was like, you guys are crazy. Like, we still got all these episodes. But now I'm wondering, like, should they cancel the season and just release the second half? Like, give them another year to finish the second half and then release it in 2026 or 2027 or something? Like, might be worth it. I'm kind of coming over to that camp. I mean, I was very upset in episode 5, the important missing details and the Garo pose, the really critical, super important Garo pose, which I have a poster of literally right there, behind that. It's blurred right now, but you can't see it, but I literally have a giant metal poster of that Garo pose, like, in my office. They ruined it.
It just looks so disjointed. It looks like it was an editing mistake that was kept in by accident. However, objection, I'm going to argue against myself here. I think even manga readers should be disappointed by this because there is so much cut content here. They removed so much that was present in the manga, so that way they could condense all of this into a single episode. This ball of filth, this fucking rancid testicle, so they could make everything fit here almost, and they just wiped their ass with tons and tons that was present in the manga.
Yeah, dude, they did Rover fight, Giro, and Orochi. Like, I really don't think they had to do that. They probably could have even just made the Rover fight like the entire episode or ended it with the Giro part. I mean, I'm blown away that like the whole Monster King fight, they could have made that like half of the next episode and just went crazy with it. It's huge missed opportunity, just so rushed.
So like, I feel like it should be underwhelming to literally anybody. Anyone that's read the manga, anyone that has eyeballs, it should just be obvious to everyone that this is a very weak season of any show. Even if it wasn't a property as big and as beloved as One Punch Man, I really think anyone that would watch this would be like, oh, this is not very good compared to everything.
You know, surprisingly though, every single normie anime fan that I have talked to since this season has started, including my brother, loves One Punch Man season 3. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the criticism. Like, pretty much everything Charlie here is saying is 100% true. But the interesting thing is just like how much people get influenced by like a big YouTuber's opinion or social media mob rule opinion of this is bad, we're going to hate on this. And when you go ask normal people who like maybe aren't on the internet, they're like, oh, I love One Punch Man season 3. It's like, it's so cool so far. And I'm like, you really think that? And they're like, yeah, what do you mean? And so it's like two different worlds, like the internet people and the non-internet people.
Like season 2 got a lot of criticism, including from me, for being much worse than season 1. Season 1, I guess, was kind of lightning in a bottle, magic that they're never going to be able to recreate, but season 2 was a big step down from that in the animation department, but it was still held up well by mostly everything else. Like the pacing worked, the writing was still hitting, the characters were still great. In season 3, it's 6 years later, you would think that after the criticism when it came to animation in season 2, that'd be one of the main things they'd want to improve on. But somehow they went 10 steps backwards. It is significantly worse than season 2 animation, and I really think because of how...
So I went back and rewatched a lot of season 2, and I'm like, dude, you know what? It actually is better than season 3. There was actually a lot better animations than I even like, at least after seeing season 3 of One Punch Man, dude, going back and watching season 2, you're like, oh, this is a step up. And I couldn't believe that because I remembered season 2 being so much worse than it is. And now going back and watching it after watching season 3, I'm like, you know what? It ain't half bad, brother.
Disjointed everything is, a lot of the jokes and the pacing are not working anymore. So everything just feels flat. There is just so little to like about season 3.
You don't like the neon lights?
People are working on this, like Van Oba. But there is something in this pipeline, whether it's because they've been resource starved by Bandai or something, that is just ruining it. And it sucks to see. It really does. I know I've made 3 videos now yapping about season 3. I haven't been this passionately upset with something since Game of Thrones season 8. Like, that's how bad this has been to me. This season, for some reason, has this idea in its head that if you just put like a blue filter on things, it means it's stylistically hype. So there are so many like iconic
horrible
panels from the manga that in this season are just worse and painted blue. Like there's just this blue hue to them. Not even a blue hue. The whole thing is just fucking blue. It's like Eiffel 65. Like every time there's like a really cool shot, it's just blue. Like they translate it to just being blue for no reason. So like so much of this,
I think out of like the 50 neon shots they've given us, like maybe 4 were appropriate.
Just feels like a mess. And like I said, this episode did have a couple of moments that showed like a decent moment, and then is ruined by everything that surrounds it and everything that follows it. And they cut out like some, like I already mentioned, they cut out a lot from the manga, but some of the things they cut out made no sense why they wouldn't be here, because I think it's like very important to have it there. Like Garo eating the arm.
There's still a lot of animator cuts that, you know, we have yet to see. You know, we'll obviously get them on the bigger fights later this season, but it's pretty evident now after 5 episodes, after the big, you know, big triple battle episode with Garo, they're not going to be able to make fans happy with this.
The best outcome from season 3 is that they just close the book here. Maybe they just say, all right, you know what, season 3 was a mistake. This is really bad. Episode 5 is the end of the season. We're going to redo this later down the
I mean, honestly, fans would like that, but they're not going to do that because that would mean they're going to lose a crazy amount of money, and they're going to, you know, they're going to have to spend a lot more money and spend a lot more time redoing the season. They're not going to do it. I can almost guarantee you they're just going to release the entire season, and they're not going to say a damn thing. These companies really don't care about you, bro. You're just a number to them. You're literally just profit.
here. It's the only way forward. That's really the only thing that I can picture that can save this is just we forget that it happened. It's not canon. It was all just a dream, and we get a different season 3 later on that's much better.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to redo the season, bro. But you're just going to have to leave it to fans. I mean, look at what Mark did. You look at Toilek. There's red hair guy. There's tons of fans that take it into their own hands to animate some of these like peak moments of One Punch Man that we may never get. I mean, actually, it's a good question if JC Staff just fails here and Bandai's like, we don't want One Punch Man anymore. Is this the final season that we ever get? Or will a new firm buy the rights in the future and then give One Punch Man the justice it deserves? I mean, how long we're going to have to wait? 10 years? Jeez, it's probably over. I mean, this backlash it really feels like it's just ruining the property. Like, people just hate One Punch Man. It's becoming a joke and like not the good kind. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to rely on fans, guys. I mean, why the hell not, right? At this point, just let the fans do it for free.